Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. We're going to continue answering questions from the jar. I have several more questions in that jar that I'm going to reach in and grab one. Hopefully it's a goodie. Take a deep breath. Just to get that old ego out of the way. And I'm going to do my best to answer this question. Oh, it's long. Can I make it out? How do I find a sadhana, a sangha, and a guru without getting trapped in a cult? How do I find a sadhana, a sangha, and a guru without getting trapped in a cult? That's going to be a difficult question for me to answer because I have a sadhana, but I don't have a sangha, a formal sangha, and I don't have a guru. So it's going to be kind of hypocritical for me to answer that question. So I may not answer it exactly the way it was asked, and I may kind of speak to that question a little bit without answering the question, if that makes any sense. So when we talk about, say, for example, the three jewels of Buddhism, they include the Dharma, the Sangha, and the Buddha, of course. So the Buddha is the guru. They have the Sangha, which is the community to which they belong with, like-minded individuals who are seeking to attain what they're seeking to attain. And the sadhana is the practice itself, or the Dharma, is the sadhana. It's the learning and the practice, because learning is a part of the practice. Learning the scriptures, learning, the prefaces, learning they can about being peaceful and happy and kind is all a part of that sadhana. It's a part of the Dharma, which is the teachings, and then the sadhana is a part of which incorporates part of the sadhana. So that being said, most of us, if we're on a spiritual path, might be looking for these things. We might be looking for, first of all, the sadhana. What kind of practice can I take on that will help me get to where I'm wanting to go? You first, before you begin to practice, you must know what you want to attend. You intend to get from this practice. What is your ultimate goal? What is your short-term goal? What is your intermediate goal, etc.? For me, my goal in my sadhana is to attain that level of peace where I am not disturbed by anything life is giving me as it unfolds in front of me. Some would say that's just your intermediate goal. Your true goal is samadhi if you're a yogi. You're trying to attain that ultimate realization, self-realization, which I am trying to attain. So I guess in a way it could be my long-term goal. But I'm focusing on the intermediate goal then of simply gaining that peace where I remain undisturbed no matter what life is doing, what is going on around me. I'm not reacting, I'm responding, and I'm peaceful and loving and kind, and not, not closing up to life. I'm open, as Michael Singer would say. So that's my intermediate goal for my sadhana. And what do I do in my practice of my sadhana? Well, I do practice yoga. I practice hatha yoga. I practice and teach hatha yoga. I also am a mindfulness and meditation teacher, so I practice and teach that. Mostly practice. I haven't done a whole lot of teaching with the mindfulness and meditation, other than a few guided meditations, and a few individuals have come to me seeking help. That's part of my practice. The teaching is part of my practice. The learning and teaching, as far as I'm concerned, go together. So that's why I don't have one without the other. So if I say I'm learning, there's going to be some teaching involved. If I say I'm teaching, there's going to be some learning involved. I also practice the other, limbs of yoga. In Nayama, I practice, meditation, single focus concentration. Pratyahara, first of all. I try to remove my, attachment to sensory input. Then I also practice, a single focus concentration, trying to focus on my breath mostly is the thing that I work on the most when I think about single focus concentration. And I also meditate, go beyond that to meditation. Not so much in hope that I gain the siddhis, the ultimate level of samadhi that some people may receive and achieve. I simply want the peace right now. So that's all I'm focusing on. And that's one of the reasons why I do my sadhana. My practice is not just occurring on the mat or on the cushion. It occurs in everyday life. It occurs with how I approach everyone I meet. It occurs with how I deal with every situation that I encounter, both now and in the past. I'm a firm believer in samskaras and the need to purify from our samskaras. So my sadhana has a lot to do with releasing any trapped energy I may have inside me in the form of a samskara. I also practice using, teachings that I get from other individuals. I listen to great teachers. I read everything I can. I write and I teach. Not that I'm a teacher or spiritual teacher, but I do teach what I learn because it helps me to learn. So that is my particular sadhana. That may not be your sadhana. You have to find something that works for you. I don't want you to focus just on meditation. Though meditation is so wonderful in healing, helping us to get there, it can't be the be-all and the end-all. Whatever we do in meditation, we have to be able to take out into everyday life and practice in everyday life with everyday situations and everyday people. It can't be limited to what we do on the cushion as far as what I'm concerned. So we need to be very mindful of that. So if you're thinking of a practice of meditation, by all means, practice meditation. And there's several ways to practice meditation. There's so many guided meditations on the internet. I have some out there. You can go the Buddhist route, and do things like Tonglen and, meta-kindness meditations. Or you can do the Hindi route and go, or the yoga route and do Kundalini meditations with that type of breathing. You can do energy-focused meditations. You can do samskara release meditations. There are so many types of meditations that you can do. You have to first see what you're seeking. Come to terms with what you're seeking from a meditation practice. Don't use it to escape your everyday problems. I'm going to tell you right now that doesn't work. Oh, I just, this bad thing happened, I got to go meditate. Use your meditation proactively as a way of calming the body, learning to calm the body, calm the mind, so that when you encounter these stressful situations, you are better able to respond rather than react to them. So try not to use meditation which I would say should be a big component of every sadhana, as a means of escaping everyday life or everyday problems. Use it proactively to settle the mind. Not that you're going to stop thinking. There is no way to stop the thinking, but to find peace with the thinking and to find peace with the feelings that you're feeling and find peace with the experiences that you're experiencing. So use your meditation practice for that. As far as a sangha goes, a sangha is a community of like-minded individuals. I don't have one other than maybe whoever I'm talking to here, and people I listen to all seem to belong to a sangha, so I always hear them in the background. But I'm a very individual person. Whether that I think a sangha would be benefit for everybody, don't get me wrong. I just haven't found my sangha yet. That doesn't mean that you won't find yours. And it could be on the internet, it could be in person. Check out groups where they're doing meditation. Check out, if you have an inkling towards Buddhism, for example, there might be some Buddhist groups in your community. There may be yoga groups in your community. A religious congregation can be your sangha. If you already have practiced a particular religion, that congregation can definitely be your sangha. Your family can be your sangha in one way, especially if they're like-minded and still seeking that higher level of being. Friends can be your sangha. So your sangha, I believe, can be just about anybody, as long as that sangha holds you accountable to your own practice and helps you, encourages you and supports you in your practice. What about the guru? I do not have a guru, and I think I've spoken very much in detail about what I think about gurus. I know in some traditions gurus are so important, and I have nothing against gurus. I have not found my guru yet, put it that way. I'm so concerned, as this individual is, because they say that without getting lost in a cult, how will I know the difference that my guru is actually leading me into a higher level of spirituality and I'm not getting lost in a cult? First thing is, can you leave whenever you want to, I suppose, is one thing. So if you do find a teacher, is this teacher trying to take from you? Are they giving from you? At first, any cult leader probably acts as if they're giving to you, right? They're very charismatic. They know what you need to hear, and they're going to use that and manipulate that in order to get you attached to them to the point where you don't feel like you can do it on your own. But if you find someone who has no ego, that's the big thing. Just look for those egos in your teachers. If you want a teacher and a guru, look for someone who has no ego, and try to go, with those individuals that have no ego and that are not looking to feed themselves. Narcissism is really tricky to recognize at the beginning, but after a while you start to recognize the narcissistic personality. It becomes more about them than it is the teachings. So therefore you would know you don't have a guru. That is not a threat to you becoming lost in a cult type environment. I don't know what else to tell you about that. I mean, I'm going to do a lot on cults because I read a lot on cults and cult leaders, and it's a fascination of mine, an obsession of mine, because I too don't have a guru, because I do not want to be absorbed by a cult. I do not want to be led astray by someone else's ego. And I'm not at the point where I can fully distinguish between the non-ego and the ego in a personality I've met for the first time, or, sometimes that takes years for us to truly realize that this person doesn't have my best interest at heart, that this person is not out to spread a message of goodness and purity as much as they are to feed their own ego. So it's hard to say about the guru. I tend to, study people from a distance and respect people from a distance, respect the teaching mostly over the personal body and mind of the individual doing the teaching. I do that as well. So I really can't tell you how to go find a guru without being lost in a cult. And we all know that sometimes the most innocent types of group gatherings can become cultish at the end if the leader's ego is the main focus for the leader, rather than the congregation or the sangha or the message, the dharma that's being shared. So just be careful. I would also say is that, look, I've been doing this for almost 30 years now, and I've never had a sangha, and I've never had a guru. I've had a sadhana from the beginning. Maybe not a clearly defined one as I have now, but I would suggest that maybe right now you don't need one. And I guess there's an old saying out there too, so don't go looking for your guru. Your guru will come when you are ready. Don't go looking for your teacher. Your teacher will show up when the student is ready. So maybe that's the way it will work for you. That doesn't mean jump on the first person that comes your way and say, oh my God, he's going to save me. Study and question. And if you ever are in a situation where you're not allowed to question, then I would say get the heck out. Yeah. You need to be able to question. That's why you have these minds that you have. I don't know if that answered the question, but thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.